Jason, you asked me last night. I don't remember when I don't remember when I talked to Sam. It was in a different time zone. But we did talk. I know it was late at night his time, I think. And asked if he would be kind enough to join us, even though he just joined us Friday.
Right.
And he'll be joining us Thursday. And Sam, being the kind soul he is, said,
all Sam all the time.
All Sam all the time. It's basically the Sam Amick show with Dave and Jason.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with that.
I'm totally fine with
so
that.
I wore my Athletic hat today in honor of him as senior NBA writer for The Athletic. Sam Amick joins us right now. Sam, it's Dave, it's Jason, it's Anthony even. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Nice to be with you on a Monday.
Hey, good to be with you, Sam. We don't say that enough. Good to be with you on what is a very busy...
Is that actually an Athletic hat, by the way?
No, it stands for Accu Stadium, the Huddersfield Town Stadium. But I got a bunch of them because, honestly, doesn't it look like an Athletic hat?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it wasn't, but I was.
I would say, to be fair, the logo.
Amick hat. Let's get you just an Amick hat.
I'm fine with that too.
All the love.
The first piece of athletic gear I get, or the next piece, will be the first piece of athletic gear I get. So, just saying.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, my athletic Christmas gift is late. I still haven't received it.
I'm still waiting on my basketball phone.
Yeah.
Like we did back in the day with Sports Illustrated. All this is pissing off the basketball guy or the YouTube guy that's going to have to go in and mark when the basketball.
Oh, good. Let's talk about your weekends then, non-basketball.
Well, my weekend was filled with a lot of this as the news comes over. And look, it definitely hit kind of like with a thud amongst a lot of the fan base who, living here, Sam, despite being a national writer, as well as anyone, this is a frustrated, tired, worn out, sad, whatever term you want to put on it, fan base. Give me your, of course, you can read this at The Athletic. I want to make sure to plug that. Sam has written extensively. But for the listeners, what was your overall take when you heard the news?
Well, I mean, a little surprised, and like you said, I wrote about it because we had thought and heard for so long that Keon Ellis was going to be likely a one for one deal, and the one coming their way being they're hopefully for them a late first round pick. So to then have it be, a 3-for-1 deal with Cleveland, I do understand the logic behind it and where it gets them. I also understand some of the fan frustration where it's that, the idea that that you ended up having to get off more money. That was, speaking about Dennis Schroeder from last summer, like that's just not all moves work. That one was a tough one because in hindsight, if they just go ahead and make the Westbrook thing happen and avoid cutting that 3-year, $45 million deal, partial guarantee in the third season, then you don't have to go down this road. But I also don't know, I've seen some of the speculation about this being tied into other moves. Now, could Hunter get moved again? Sure, but I'm not hearing that right now. And specifically, the speculation about the Warriors and a possible Kuminga tie-in. The Warriors have made it really clear that they don't want any money past this year. So just for folks that had wondered about that part, if I don't see that happening either.
So Sam, back to the Keon part. I know when I talked to you Friday and you talked to Dave and I before this about, basically half the league seemed to be interested in Keon. Was the return value not as high as even that late first round that the Kings were looking for, or could they have waited longer? Kind of where's your status on kind of what Keon was thought about amongst the rest of the league?
Yeah, they didn't want to wait because they were concerned about, when things pick up. It's just the reality is someone like Keon Ellis is not going to be the priority. And so there was concern about, kind of being left holding the bag in that regard. Now, in terms of teams that might have given them a first, Minnesota is a good example. They were involved. I think that actually would have been 2 seconds. Showed a lot of interest, and then Giannis Antetokounmpo became the priority. And, even some chatter that there was some ownership involvement on the Minnesota side that they kind of got in the way. So Minnesota was fading away as an option. Indiana, there was a Benedict Mathurin obstacle where they didn't want to give up a late first while still having Mathurin, because they will potentially be moving him. But so long as he's on the team, the concern logic-wise for the Pacers was, are we really going to give up a late first for a guy in Keon who might not beat Benedict out for playing time? So that suddenly wasn't as much of an option. And these are the most aggressive suitors. Boston was in there too. I'm forgetting all the details, about the Boston situation. But that kind of faded away. So they obviously went the Cleveland route.
Sam Amick joining us. Sam, going back to Dennis Schroeder, I'm not pushing back. I just know that you and I talked to some of the same people. And the thought at the beginning of the year was with Schroeder, hey, we didn't know Russ was going to lock up. They wanted their rookie coach to have a real point guard on the floor that could help on both sides of the ball, but that was also a vet because they didn't have a true point guard. So they went for Schroeder. Maybe if they knew they were going to get Westbrook, they wouldn't have. But that was their thought process going in, and now they get off his deal to open things up now that they know fully how the season's going to go. You buy that? You agree with that? You want to poke holes in that?
No, I'm not. I mean, that's fine. Listen, yeah, they didn't know for sure, it seemed, on Westbrook when they did the Dennis deal. But by the time they did Westbrook, as you guys remember, it had kind of a weird vibe of like, oh, I think this was kind of the plan the whole time.
Yeah.
And this is an extreme stance to take, easier for me. I mean, when you have a new head coach and Doug Christie saying, can I please try to win some games? And then you have vets, let's acknowledge the human component for a minute.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to use my colleague and buddy's John Hollinger's terminology. He's written this. He was a former front office guy with the Grizzlies, as you guys know. And he talks about, the difference between video game style roster building and then like reality and real life. The video game style is everything's an asset. This is a game board with not real humans, right? So if you go that approach, you could argue that you already knew unofficially that virtually like all of the veterans on this team were not part of your long-term plan. So as a result, you could argue that you shouldn't invest anything in that pathway. You know what I mean? Like, if you already know where this is going, then don't make the hole bigger by, adding to the cost around the group that you already don't believe in. But that is video game roster building. You have the coach who wants to make his mark. You have the players who might get, louder and even more upset earlier if you don't show some inclination to try to win games. So I do understand why they did it. He was the best point guard on the market at the time. So in a vacuum, you looked at it and said, oh, okay, but you had to squint and say, okay, is he going to elevate this group? Are they going to win any games? And, for them to look up and have 12 wins in early February is obviously not what they had planned.
Sam Amick from The Athletic joining us. Sam, as Keon departs as one of those guys that seemingly was coveted by a lot of teams, he still can also become a free agent. I know Cleveland has an opportunity to extend him. What do you think the Cavs' plan is for Keon Ellis?
I don't have clarity there, but, I think, honestly, let's say, okay, he's going to resign. Fine. I don't know that they have to know that just yet because their stakes are so high right now that they just needed something different off the bench, and DeAndre Hunter, it was a strange one for him. When he came their way from Atlanta last year, it was widely seen as a trade deadline coup, and a really nice addition. It obviously didn't work out, but, they've got Donovan Mitchell coming up on an extension summer where if he doesn't sign it, it's going to get very loud about him leaving next season or next summer, 2 summers from now, as a free agent. You got Darius Garland with a toe injury that is seemingly pretty bad because he continues to miss games and some confusion about his status. So they needed some help in the backcourt. And this was supposed to be a title contender. This was the team that had the best record in the East last year. So pressure is on for them, and Keon is part of the playoff program where they, in the East, where it's obviously just nothing like the West. They're still trying to make something happen there.
Does it seem, as I'm hearing it, we're pretty much, unless something changes last minute, dead market for, not dead market, but very unlikely that almost impossible LaVine moves, DeRozan moves, and I hear the Sabonis Toronto thing is real, but they're not taking Pirtle. Are you hearing similar?
Yeah, no, that last one is the only one I was going to mention. I mean, and I wish I knew better, like exactly what Toronto was pondering right now, because they've been tied to, inquiring about Ja Morant. They've been, they've poked around on Anthony Davis before he got hurt. So, Toronto's one of those teams that you feel like they might make a splash of some kind. I just don't know where they have Sabonis on their board in terms of priority, but that one is worth monitoring. And yeah, the other guys, I'm a little surprised that at least to this point, you're not seeing more interest in Malik and DeMar, especially DeMar with that partial guarantee for next year. We still have a ways to go. You're talking, what's today, the 2nd? We got 3 more days. So, but yeah, I agree with that. LaVine, it's just the money is too much. Unless he signaled or sent the message out that he was not going to pick up his player option next year, that would be a game changer. But right now, that does not appear to be the case.
Sam, how about you mentioned Hunter, just not, it felt like a coup for the Cavs last year when they got him. It didn't quite materialize the way they hoped for. The Kings have been desperate for more wing help. That you could see why at least they did that part of it and having him only sign for 1 more year. Just looking ahead to the pieces here in Sacramento, how do you think Hunter fits in with the Kings?
It's just, Jay, it's tricky because I don't know how anybody fits in with the Kings right now because I don't know what the Kings are. And that's not even trying to be critical. It's just it's a massive time of transition. And so, the question is, how's DeAndre Hunter going to fit in with blank face, blank face, blank face? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like the guys who are coming this way at some point whose identities we do not yet know. So, I do wonder. I do think at the tail end of the deadline here, and not to make fans nervous, Dave, you've tweeted about this, is like, there is still time for like the Ja Morant thing is interesting to me because he just has no market. You know what I mean? And the Kings' stance had always been, that if the price got low enough, then we would certainly have a look at it. But if anything, it was like the Grizzlies would be having to attach assets. Yeah, Dave disappears.
That's low.
Oh gosh.
But
okay.
But when they got Hunter, and this is just me talking, I've not informed speculation, just sheer speculation, that his age and his contract did make me go, it like as a plan C, plan D, like he's the type of player that would fit around a player like that. So whether it's that or some other, kind of, player whose market has caved and you go after at the deadline, there's a lot of those guys this year. So, who knows if something like that pops.
It seems the pillars Scott Perry has professed publicly and privately. I think I don't know. I find myself poking a hole here or there. But Hunter's expiring next year. Also doesn't go past 27. It just, I don't know, Sam. Am I reading this right? It just seems like this is a 2-year project to start it. Really, this is like the foundation. And I think you said it best. We were saying similar earlier. It sucks going on radio or any form of media and trying to have hot take on this deal because it's such an incomplete part of the puzzle. They've got the LaVine albatross, DeRozan, Sabonis that almost certainly will not be here either a year or a year and a half from now. You don't know what this team's going to look like. By the way, you don't know if your best case scenario, as we discussed, getting a power forward, a point guard, or a wing in the draft, and that's if you get one of the top 3 picks. They have no idea what this is going to look like. So if you go by his tenets, don't take on money past 27, get more switchable. I guess draft capital is the one that really didn't matter. And also, are you hearing the same thing? I know I'm yammering here, but it was the pick and the Schroeder move from Detroit that got sent back, that second round pick, which I think is going to be the worst of the Knicks and the Pistons second. Is that right?
Yes, that sounds right.
Okay, so it's as you said, it's just tough to grade this because I don't know what the hell they are.
No, for sure. I'm just trying to walk the line. You guys, not to be corny, but you do a service for the fans. Like the fans don't want to hear propaganda. They just don't, and I get that. So I'm trying to make sure we acknowledge some of that frustration because I do, in terms of the optics, like no matter what the pick is, I saw one tweet that was just like, wait, like the guy that was supposed to get us a surefire first and Keon Ellis led to us sending a pick out. Right. Like in a vacuum, I get it. Like I don't care how bad the pick is.
Yep.
But again, I think we've also acknowledged all the different dynamics that came into play with that decision. And I mean, we're gonna sit here and yammer and not really hot taking today, but like Friday, you can take a read of the room Thursday and say, all right, what do we think when the picture is more complete?
Well, and so the Kings became, I think, the second trade of this trade season. You had one more smaller one with Portland and Atlanta. So there's been a couple here, nothing major yet as we close in, Sam. I mean, you mentioned Jaws market is down. Giannis is still the biggest name out there. What else are you hearing that, all right, we're going to start ramping things up here over the next couple days?
Yeah, I mean, I saw as I get rolling here on the West Coast Monday morning, Brian Windhorst reported that the Knicks are no longer pursuing Giannis. I did chuckle when someone countered by saying it's a classic case of, you can't break up with me, I'm breaking up with you type thing, like where, their pathway to a deal right now was always not only not as competitive as a lot of the other teams, but way more disruptive. Like when you talk about OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges, and these are like important players for your team. Like you are gutting your team mid-season. So the combination of that discomfort and the unlikelihood of the deal and the Knicks playing well right now, for this to come after they beat the Lakers and won their sixth straight is not shocking. So we'll see, I think, how the Giannis market evolves. I mean, talking to some people yesterday, and it changes all the time. I started kind of going, all right, maybe they're going to hold on to him. There's a few signs from teams that have talked to the Bucks that make you wonder if it's going that direction. And even like the idea of the counter offers being shared between the Bucks and interested teams, considering that right now, I still think people see the Warriors as the front runner for the trade deadline Giannis sweepstakes. I don't know what that counter offer looks like, because the idea, it seems pretty clear that Draymond's in it and not Jimmy, with Brandon Pajemski and Jonathan Kuminga and all of their picks. I don't know where the conversation goes from there.
Really interesting to me with all their pick swaps, all their picks, their glut of guards. I think you may have written about it. I apologize if I saw it somewhere else, but it seems the Spurs are not part of the Giannis equation. And that to me kind of blows me away, that the idea he, Wemby, and then you guess two of Fox, Castle, and Harper, that's a formidable OKC threat. Any idea as to why, if it's true, they're not in this combo?
I mean, the stock answer is that the timeline, he's 31 years old.
Yeah.
That's not what they're trying to do. I would love to be a fly on, again, I have no info on this, but I would love to be a fly on the wall for the Wemby conversations with the Spurs, assuming they've happened. Like, would you blame a young guy like that if he might have found a way, or his people, to send the message of like, all right, let me cook here for a few years, like as the guy. Like, I mean, that's one of those that on paper sounds amazing. It probably would be amazing, but having two aliens, so to speak, on the same team in Giannis and Wemby, functionally, how would that work? But yeah, the timeline thing to me is the biggest factor. As an aside, again, Spurs and Kings fans probably don't want to hear this. I thought Fox was definitely one of the snubs on the All-Star team. It's wild that I forget where his final numbers were, but he carried that team when Wemby was out. Dave didn't like that hot take.
I'm gonna get the letters. That's fine.
All the letters.
All the letters.
Well, I'm sure that made Kings fans happy then. Maybe we'll spin it that way.
Well, he did make the All-Star team, so there. That.
Yeah.
Sam, should LeBron be there?
I don't think so. I'm hardcore on the All-Star fund. I really don't like, the ceremonial selections. I'm not a big fan. There's no way. I mean, if you break down the numbers,
right.
There's absolutely no way. So even no it's pretty brutal, by the way. Conspiracy theory time. Dave loves this. Let's put our tinfoil hats on. And I'm only half kidding. Like, the NBA historically has had an amazing ability to make sure that the All-Star host has at least one selection.
Yeah.
And the Clippers, now granted, I know they got off to an awful start, but even during their awful start, James Harden was absolutely cooking and putting up big numbers. So, Kawhi missed 13 games. At the end, it seemed like he should be the guy to a lot of people. But whether it was James or Kawhi, the idea that I don't have the standings in front of me, if you guys know where the Clippers are now, but the Clippers are literally
they're 9-3 back of 8.
They're like the best team in the NBA in the last 3 weeks.
Yep.
So that was a little stunning that not only did LeBron get on as a courtesy to keep his record going, but no Clippers got on there. I'm sure Steve Ballmer is loving that amidst the backdrop of the investigation around them, and when is that going to happen?
Yeah, for those that say the
as
record,
far as the
like
results.
Yeah, Avdia made it, and he should. Denny has, but they're below the Clippers.
Hey.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Right.
Sam, I know All-Star break's coming up, and I'm not sure if you're going to have commissioner access or not. I know he usually does the thing. But just in case, I wanted to real quick pass 3 things on that I'd like you to yell at him about, and also say hi for us.
After he yells at him?
Say hi first.
Okay, that's good. Soften him up.
Okay, so number 1, this apron thing is stupid, and I hate it. This is like the dumbest trade deadline. It's freaking Keon Ellis and Trae Young, and then what's the one from yesterday? Duop Reef. Like, no disrespect, this is dumb. And you had Luka Doncic last year in the that fake rigged trade that got Dallas Cooper flag. But can we figure this out, because it's dumb for the game. That's number 1. Number 2, the 65 game thing that's starting to prevent I think Jokic can miss one more game. Can we just finally that's not going to work. If it was the right idea, it's not going to work. Can we just do what every other sport does, please, and go to total points, total rebounds, total assists, and that fixes it right there? Like I've said before, imagine if Aaron Judge hit 70 home runs, but dude behind him, averaged 2.1 home runs versus, or would be that, but what I'm saying? Like, what if the home run king, and Aaron Judge is a home run king with 0.93 home runs a game. All hail Aaron Judge. Like, can we just go to totals for everything, and that solves it all? And then number 3, please tell the world team to just beat the hell out of the U.S. team with EuroLeague coming up, and the NBA Finals isn't the real World Championship talk. And that's how we fix the All-Star game, is we get the world and the U.S. to hate each other. In basketball, hello. And then, I feel
that's happening.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like that's all. I feel like those are all 3 really good topics, Sam, and it will help Adam fix the basketball.
I feel like the combination of you giving me 72 topics at once while my phone started blowing up about some other stuff leads to it. No, nothing sexy, but a good conversation. It gives me zero hope of answering any of your questions.
Well,
other than the apron thing, you kind of put a twist on it this time. So at least to your credit, you gave more context, but you keep asking me about the broken system. Like, I don't know what to tell. Like, I'll yell it at him. I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's
not your fault.
No, I know. Okay. But so I'll move past that one. The 65 game deal. I don't see them reversing course soon. I think they probably want to give it time, even though it's pretty unpopular.
Why not go to totals though? I mean, can you shoot a hole in that? Like, why is it bad? It solves the whole rest management, this, that. Like every other sport does it. Wouldn't
that's the part where I was distracted. What does everybody other sport do?
I'm saying like in football, the quarterback that wins the passing title, they don't go by he averaged 334. It's most yards. In baseball, it's most home runs, most RBI, most hits. Like the NBA can solve this whole 65-game issue by getting rid of that and just going with, the scoring leader scored the most points in the league that year. Rebounding leader, assist leader, steals leader, block leader. You had the most. That's it. Move on.
Right.
Why are they complicating it?
Fair enough.
Thank you.
Tell the commission.
Tell Adam.
Yeah.
And tell him that, thanks for still having an NBA team in Sacramento.
That too. Yeah. That too. That's Sam Amick doing double duty, soon to be triple duty this week. He
may not come back on Thursday.
This may be enough for him. We shall see. But in the meantime, please read his work at The Athletic. Follow him online as well for all the latest news and analysis. Sam, thank you, and have a great rest of your week.
You too, gentlemen. Talk soon.
Take care. Sam Amick, we're way late for a break. When we come back, we're going to switch to football real quick. 4 down territory, including the 49ers making a big move. We'll do that next.
Hey, this is Greg Papa.